Master said, "Hello."
You want to file free? Hit it.
Nunca se dijo like that chicken from Popeyes.
Oh, let's go Popeyes!
Los trozos crujientes.
So after nearly 30 years of being considered lost media, the full 16-minute pilot for Family Guy has finally been unearthed. You might be saying to yourself, but Clam, I'm pretty sure I saw this at some point. Well, you might have seen some of it. About 7 minutes of the original pilot was available to watch on the Family Guy Volume 2 DVD set and has since been uploaded to the internet. But this is the first time the full pilot has been available to the public for viewing. And today, we're going to be comparing the original pilot to the first official episode of Family Guy, Death Has a Shadow, to see what was changed and what ended up remaining the same. There are quite a few things to look at, from character voices to designs to the formula that would carry the show into 25 years of success. Well, success and some hiccups sprinkled in here and there. But before we get into that, let's gather a little context by looking at the history of the pilot, how it was made, and how it came to be found in the first place. So in 1995, lowly Rhode Island art student Seth MacFarlane conceptualized what would later become Family Guy with a 10-minute cartoon pilot called The Life of Larry.
What state is that?
I don't know. I got toothpaste on the article. Looks like Oklahoma.
What's interesting about this pilot is that the wife character is the only one to keep her name from this pilot all the way through to the final show. She's always known as Lois, while Larry would become Peter, Steve would become Brian, and Milt would become Chris. So why did Seth have such a connection to the name Lois? Perhaps it's the name of a long-lost love MacFarlane still thinks about to this day that he could finally be with in cartoon form. That'd be kinda sad and insane? And you thought making a sim out of your high school crush was depressing. This rough animation would be submitted as his thesis film while he was attending RISD, the Rhode Island School of Design, and would be the catalyst for landing him a job at animation juggernaut Hanna-Barbera, where he'd spend the next few years working on shows like Dexter's Laboratory, Cow and Chicken, and Johnny Bravo. But during that time, he would create a sequel to his original animation called Larry and Steve.
I think I know what I'm talking about, all right? All right? I didn't spend 12 years in kindergarten because I'm stupid.
This further expanded upon the wacky dynamic between the dim-witted New England moron Larry and his wise, sophisticated dog Steve, which would form the basis for the characters Peter and Brian.
What are we gonna do?
Well, let's go shopping.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
The role of a talking dog was speaking to Seth like the Green Goblin mask, just begging to be brought to life. Luckily, executives at the Fox Broadcasting Company saw this short and decided to make a deal with McFarlane. They offered him $50,000 to create a pilot for a show that could fit into their primetime animation slot, which may sound like a lot, but mind you, most episodes have a production cost of about $1 million. So after 6 months of non-stop work, McFarlane had finally created what we're here to discuss today, a pilot for a little show called Family Guy. Fox ended up loving it and pushed it into production, giving it a full budget and cast and crew to bring the show to life. But like I said before, this pilot was considered lost media until recently. Outside of those aforementioned 7 minutes found on DVD, our only glimpses at the rest of the pilot came from short promos for the show in early 1999.
Family Guy.
Shoot, these things are lucky.
But we owe the discovery of the missing pilot to a user of the Lost Media Wiki named Ghost the Dead Girl, who found all 16 minutes of the episode uploaded to the personal website of an animator named Robert Paulson, who is credited with having original inking and painting of the episode. Paulson seems to have only worked on the pilot and nothing else related to Family Guy, so it's kinda wild that the pilot was in the hands of a one-off animator all along. But you know what's even wilder? The pilot was uploaded to his website back in 2022. It's just been sitting under our noses this entire time. Well, your noses and my chemoreceptors, but look, we're not here to talk about my weird body parts. Now, let's dive right into this pilot and see just how much was changed when it became Season 1, Episode 1, Death Has a Shadow.
Smoking. How does a boy like that go so wrong?
Okay, so let's start with those designs. As you can tell, the core ideas of the characters haven't changed, just mostly their colors. While Chris looks basically the same as his final counterpart, the pilot does have him rocking some ripped jeans. What is this, a brothel? Cover up your legs, you hussy! Meg would receive a full-on color overhaul, swapping her hat and shirt to pink. Lois has potentially the most drastically different look, sporting blonde hair and what looks like a mauve shirt. And aside from a few stylistic tweaks, Brian and Peter seem to have remained the same. It's hard to tell if it's just because of what I'm used to, but I think I prefer the updated designs. The pink in Meg's design helps her stand out much more, and she needs all the help she can get, and the orange of Lois's hair and the blue of her shirt are far more complementary. If there's one piece of pilot design I'd maybe keep, it'd be Peter's more defined glasses. Thick-rimmed glasses are all the rage now.
You folks want some pancakes?
No, thank you. See, that's the worst we got is Jemima's Witnesses.
The cold opening remains conceptually unchanged, though the original pilot lacks the iconic theme song we've come to know and love. All we get is a simple jingle and a title card, which I actually kinda like. The quotation marks kinda imply that Family Guy is a fairly loose term to describe Peter based on the antics we'll see played out. Subtle storytelling at its finest. Absolute cinema.
Excellent. The mind control device is nearing completion.
Stewie, I said no toys at the table.
Here we get a better look at Stewie's design, which is mostly the same aside from the change from a purple to a yellow shirt and green to red overalls. A little less Piccolo and a little more Winnie the Pooh. Again, I think the coloring helps him stand out and be a little less muted. And from here, we see the first divergence from the original pilot, as before Stewie says his first line, there's a short conversation between Lois and Meg.
Mom, my lips are too thin. Can I please get collagen injections?
Meg, you don't need to change the way you look.
Which also transitions into the show's first ever cutaway. Honestly, it was kind of a bold move having a guy like Adolf so early in your cartoon, but I can see why they probably refrained from using him when pitching the series. The following lines after Stewie's are also edited slightly and given to Lois, when in the original pilot the lines are spoken by Meg, who sounds quite different.
I remember when Stewie was born. He was the only baby I've ever seen who came out smiling.
And exactly how many babies have you seen being delivered, Meg? But anyway, Meg in the original pilot is voiced by Seth's sister, Rachel McFarlane, who would go on to be replaced by Lacey Chabert, who would then go on to be replaced by Mila Kunis. Hopefully there's no bad blood between the siblings over that. Really though, all I hear is Haley Smith, so I'd say I'm more impartial to Kunis. There's just something to Kunis' voice that screams annoying weirdo teenager, in a good way, of course.
Thou shalt get drunk.
And that's what Chris sounds like. Well, the voice definitely matches that stoner teenager archetype, but that's not Seth Green voicing Chris just yet, but the other Seth. Honestly, not the worst thing in the world, but only if they would have kept this kind of characterization in the final show. So this means out of the entire main cast, Lois is the only one not to be voiced by McFarlane, but instead she's voiced by her soon-to-be regular Alex Borstein.
Don't touch the thermostat, Meg. Your father gets upset.
From there, the plot proceeds normally, though we do get a surprising cameo in the original pilot that we don't entirely get in Death Has a Shadow.
Hey, Peter, my thing went off. Your thermostat okay?
Yeah, it's all right.
Hey, is my kid over here?
Forget it. False alarm.
So yeah, that guy looks to be a pretty untouched and unchanged Cleveland Brown, though Mike Henry has yet to give him his signature drawn-out drawl. What is pretty interesting, though, is that for a brief moment, Cleveland was voiced by longtime voice actor Phil LaMarr. I like Lamar's work, but honestly, I don't think it fits super well for Cleveland, or at least for who Cleveland would become. Anyway, both episodes continue about the same from there, with cutaways referencing Peter's drinking.
Yet miraculously, Job was still able to keep his dignity.
Whoa, is that really the blood of Christ?
Okay, am I going crazy, or does Peter drinking from the chalice sound a lot like the drinking sound effect from Minecraft? I won't throw on my tinfoil hat just yet, but what if, right? But then the following cutaway after that appears not only in the show's first episode and the pilot, but also the Life of Larry pilot created all those years ago.
I have AIDS.
A joke so nice he used it thrice. And from there, the pilot moves along as intended, with us getting our first look at what could be considered the proto-Quagmire.
Hey, who wants to play Drink the Beer?
Right here.
You win!
Thank goodness they redesigned Glenn for primetime. The background extra look just doesn't suit that man. This guy needs a chin the size of Colorado. And if you listen closely, you may even be able to hear the Beatles' I Wanna Hold Your Hand over the party in the original pilot. Kinda seems like a weird bachelor party song, but who am I to judge?
Daddy only drank so the Statue of Liberty would take her clothes off.
Narratively, the pilot and episode continue the same, with a few altered lines here and there and a cutaway thrown in the final product.
Feels like there's accountants cranking ad machines in my head.
So it seems the original pilot didn't make as much of an effort to go as out there as the first episode. They mostly let the characters be the conductors of the comedy rather than the references or cutaways. Think I said that loud enough for the modern episodes to hear me? It's a bit of a surprise considering pilots are supposed to help set the tone of the show, but it could have been more of a time issue than anything.
This chair leg was loose. Isn't that silly? I could have broken my neck.
Damn.
And when we step into Peter's job at Happy-Go-Lucky Toys, we also hear a different voice for his boss, Mr. Weed.
Peter, it's your job to watch for any toy products that might be harmful to children. Now look sharp.
So this one-time stand-in for Mr. Weed is actually Seth MacFarlane's old colleague and friend Butch Hartman, who would see his own success in animation a few years later when his show The Fairly Odd Parents was picked up. And while Hartman would be replaced with Carlos Alazraqui for the rest of the series, his name would still live on through the character of Dr. Hartman. But no Seth MacFarlane reference in Hartman's show? Sounds like a fake friend to me.
Quite a situation we've got here, Tom.
Quite a situation we've got here, Tom. Indeed, Diane.
Quite a situation we've got here, Mike.
Quite a situation we've got here, Mike. Indeed, Diane.
And here's our first look at Tom and Diane of Channel 5 News, then known as Channel 6. Diane retains her name and overall look, though uses a different voice actress. Tom is still voiced by Seth MacFarlane, though he didn't go by Tom, he was instead Mike. I know Seth voicing a ton of characters was done out of cost necessity, but it's still surprising to see how many characters he continued to do after the show was greenlit. Save some voice roles for the rest of us.
Way to go, Dad. Fight the machine. How do you know about the machine?
Here's where the pilot differs a bit in each version. In the pilot, Lois learns of Peter losing his job immediately while also establishing a little character development for Chris.
I'm gonna go get wasted.
Okay, look both ways.
I guess Chris was originally going to lean into the more rebellious teenager archetype before being turned into a loser for the show. Kinda surprised they went with both kids being somewhat social outcasts, but when you look at this family life, it starts to make a little more sense.
What's that, Peter?
Nothing. Oh, the lost my job smells great.
What?
In the episode, Peter decides to keep his layoff a secret from Lois, no doubt to build more dramatic tension and make Peter look even more irresponsible than he already did.
I already been through 2 jobs this week. I got fired off of that commercial.
And while the cutaways in this sequence remain mostly unchanged, the original pilot actually gives a bit more time to one of the cutaways.
Oh, that is... They're gone! Oh, yes.
This little bit admittedly makes the joke about the Von Trapp family escaping Austria make more sense, but I guess it was deemed unnecessary to include. It's too bad, because I actually like this better than how the joke plays out in the episode, with its jarring clapping sound effect and its flat ending.
Oh, that is bull.
In the original pilot, Peter immediately gets the idea to go on welfare from Chris.
Hey, Dad, you ever think of welfare? That's like free money, you know.
While in the actual episode, a full 2 minutes is added before Peter makes that decision, inserting scenes of Peter trying to tell Lois the truth and failing.
What is it, Peter?
You're getting kind of fat.
And Stewie trying to use his mind control device.
I shall end your oppressive reign of matriarchal tyranny.
Oh, you can play with your toys tomorrow, honey.
They probably realized that the evil talking baby was money and they needed to give him more scenes. But where the pilot and the episode reconverge is with a fart joke, which also originates from the Life of Larry short.
What the hell was that?
A joke so fine he used it thrine. So Peter eventually gets his welfare check of $150,000 a week, and while there's some deliberation over it, both Peters end up spending it relatively similarly.
Peter, You bought the statue of David?
No, I just rented it.
Dad, you bought Michelangelo's David?
No, I just rented it.
And where Peter throws David's severed appendage could have had lasting implications for one character.
Shoot, these things are lucky.
Proto-Quagmire was all over the place. Who knows what horrors he'd unleash on the world if this was the guy we got stuck with. So Peter in the show continues to recklessly spend unearned government money, and eventually Lois learns what's going on.
Congratulations on all your success. Here's your welfare check.
What the?
2 censored swears in the first episode? This really was the most dangerous episode of 1999 TV, huh? Hope everyone had some pearls to clutch back then. Anyway, once the jig is up, Peter has similar ideas on how to give the money back to the taxpayers.
Amazing, you can barely drive a car, and yet you are allowed to fly a blimp? Yeah, America's great, isn't it? Except for the South.
So in the original pilot, they only had enough budget for a hot air balloon, but in the full episode, they're upgraded to a blimp. Didn't think more money meant you could draw bigger balloons. You learn something new every day. But I guess neither video could afford footage of seeing the balloon shot down. And from there, the pilot and the episode play out more or less the same. Peter and Brian land in jail.
All the rumors about dropping a soap are true.
Really?
Oh, yeah, you can't hold on to that thing to save your life.
Lois finds out about it.
Hello? Oh my God.
And Peter appeals to the court.
And everybody learns a valuable lesson.
Mr. Griffin, have you learned a lesson?
Oh, yeah, stay the hell away from that bike shop.
But this is where the episode diverts slightly, as the pilot has the judge trying to show Peter the error of his ways with a tape explaining the value of welfare to the homeless.
I'd rather be a penniless American than a rich commie. Well, I guess being homeless isn't so bad after all.
See, being poor is good. Straight from the mouth of Uncle Sam. Straight from the mouth and into the toilet. But the judge in both versions decides Peter needs a bit more than a slap on the wrist.
I'm sentencing you to 24 months in prison.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh no!
Well, you know what happens next.
Oh, yeah!
Except, in the pilot, the Kool-Aid Man doesn't appear. I guess his lawyers hadn't approved the contract negotiations yet. So we just get Mr. Weed building a house of cards.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
And in both versions, Lois makes a heartfelt plea to the judge while letting Peter know that she loves him no matter how much or how little money he has.
I know he only accepted that money because he wanted to be a good husband and father.
I know he only accepted the money because he thought it would make him better in the eyes of his family.
It's clear that both versions wanted to establish Lois as the emotional backbone of the family, standing by her husband no matter what. I like to think her love has its limits.
Okay, you can go to jail with him.
What?
But never fear, the show's Deus Ex Machina, aka the evil genius baby, can make everything right.
Let us see how the iron constitution of American justice fares against the device.
Though in the final episode, it isn't immediately clear if Stewie's device works, as the judge kinda makes his decision simply by seeing Stewie.
Gosh, I can't separate a kid that young from his father. It's unjudgmently.
Not sure unjudgmently is a word, but who cares? Peter's free to go and even gets his job back. Status quo secured. And so both episodes end with Peter kinda learning a lesson, but not before one last pop culture joke, which was repurposed from an earlier moment in the pilot.
She sells seashells down by the... That is kind of a tongue twister.
But to let the American people know Peter will always have another harebrained scheme up his sleeve, both episodes reaffirm that lessons aren't exactly something Peter's keen on learning.
I got a way to get money.
Not another welfare scam.
No. Minority scholarship.
But where the pilot ends on a freeze frame over credits, the final episode makes sure to remind everyone that Peter should be treated as an idiot at all times.
No.
Are you insane?
Okay, I mean,
Okay, why has nobody ever even... Bruh, whatever. It seems today that all you see is violence. On which we used to rely. We're lucky there's a Family Guy. Lucky there's a man who positively can do all the things that make us laugh and cry. He's it seems today that all you see is violence in movies and magazines on TV. But where are those good old-fashioned values on which we used to rely? Lucky there's a Family Guy. How do I turn off the freaking VPN?